Dear Jessica, my internet has not been working at all. Which, I mean, well, not at all. But, like, okay, so my internet has been doing this thing where it's like, sometimes it loves me, and then sometimes it's like, I don't want anything to do with you, and it stops working, and then I don't see internet for, like, days and days. Not days and days, but, like, hours. Which feels like days and days when you don't have internet, and you're sitting at home, and you're just, like, going crazy. You're like, I can only listen to the same... I only have, like, 4 different albums on my computer. I have some on my iPod, but one of my headphones is broken, so I can only listen to the right one. And so it's like I'm trapped in the same 4 albums all the time because the internet is not working. And it makes me sad. Also, it's kind of been a bit of an obstacle for making videos and really for doing everything because you need internet for that. So, the Norway trip. So, the first part of the Norway trip was a 15-hour bus ride. And let me just tell you how much I love a 15-hour bus ride. We're in the middle, we stop at McDonald's, and the bus breaks down. So we sat at McDonald's for like an hour, and they tested the bus to see if it worked. And then finally, they're like, oh, well, the bus is working now, I guess we can go. And then we drove the rest of the way. That being said, sleeping on buses is really, really uncomfortable, and I don't recommend it. Well, trying to sleep on buses is uncomfortable. Sleeping on buses is nearly impossible. So we traveled overnight, so we left around 7, and we got there around 10 a.m. to the town called Bergen, which is this little... first of all, Norway is beautiful. And we ended up in this little harbor town that is so pretty, and they're just the boats on the water, and there is this, they call it a mountain, but it was just a really big hill that you could hike up to the top of. It was fantastic, and it made me really wish that I owned a boat, or that I lived on the water, because I miss both of those things. And yeah. So, we spent a full day there, and one night. And we stayed actually at a YMCA hostel thing, which I thought was hilarious because I was like, it's the YMCA, it's funny, because I don't know, the YMCA's back home aren't like hostels or anything, it's just like a sports complex thing, yeah, you know. So, then we left from there at like 7 in the morning the next day, and we went, on a ferry, which was really pretty. I can't wait. I have to post all these pictures, but there's so many of them, and I still have pictures backlogged all the way to our first trip to Switzerland and Germany. It just takes so long to upload them all. So I'll have to do that at some point. So we were on a ferry, and we went through all the fjords in all throughout Norway to try to get to I'm actually not sure the name of the location we went to. I have it somewhere, but it's the largest glacier in Norway. Is like right there, like an hour or so, hour and a half from our campsite maybe. So it was a campsite, but we stayed in cabins, and some people got luckier than others. Like I got lucky. I was in one of the bigger cabins, but so if you were in a bigger cabin, you had a kitchen and a shower, and we had a living room and a fireplace. It was basically like a house. Yeah, it was kind of excellent. And so we were really lucky because the people that didn't end up in the bigger cabins had like a room with some beds in it. And maybe a sink, I think. And they had to walk out to the bathrooms, and they had to pay for their showers. So, I got really lucky. And we arrived there in the evening, or afternoon, and then we went for a short hike up a mountain. Ate some fresh blueberries, which was delicious, off the mountain. And then we went back down, slept, woke up. We went to the glacier, which was absolutely spectacular. I cannot wait to see these pictures. It's beautiful. Just first, I saw snow for the first time. since I was like, well, I know we saw like a couple of flakes falling when we were in visiting you for spring break, but I've never actually seen like snow like on the ground. There it was, bam, like yeah. So it was amazing. And I was kicking it, and people were like looking at me like I was 5 because I was acting like I was 5. But it was snow, and I am technically 5 in the sense that I haven't seen snow and therefore would act like a 5-year-old. So yeah. So we went on the glacier, and it was fantastic. We had the option to either go kayaking first and then hiking on the glacier, or hiking on the glacier and then kayaking. So we chose hiking on the glacier and then kayaking. So we put on, they're called crampons, I think. And they're basically these big spiky things you attach to the bottom of your boots so that you can walk on snow and ice and not kill yourself. Which is good. I'm a fan. And then we had like it looked like a scythe, like a pickaxe thing in case we needed it, I guess. Yeah. So anyways, that was really cool. We hiked around the glacier until lunchtime. And then we had lunch and hot chocolate while sitting next to a glacier, which was really pretty. And there's a big lake that we rode on a little boat to get to the glacier. And the glacier lake is so beautiful. And then we got on kayaks, and we got to kayak all the way back through the lake to the beginning. And it was so pretty. And it made me realize how much I miss being around, like, water and stuff like that. And also made me really want to go kayaking. So maybe when I get back to Florida, we can make a big trip and we can all go kayaking somewhere. Because I would really like that. The worst part of it was, though, that when we were kayaking, there was one point we went like in the shadow of the mountain, and because we were kayaking, we were like, oh yeah, it's gonna be warm, and so we're wearing not as much as we were. Our like stuff was stored in the kayak, but we went in the shadows, and our hands were wet from paddling, and then by the time we got to the end, it was like you couldn't feel your fingers. So it's exciting, but totally worth it. It was gorgeous, and it was amazing that the weather held the way it did when we were in Bergen and when we were in the glacier, because apparently it had rained for like 2 weeks solid before we got to Bergen. They were like, oh man, you're so lucky, you just got here at the end of the storm. And then yeah, so it was perfect. And then we had a bonfire and drinks, and they had like the tour guides, not tour guides, there's a word for it, I don't know what it is. But the people that went on the hike with us were there in the evening at the bonfire, and they brought like a piece of the glacier that had fallen off that they'd picked up in the river, and they hollowed a hole in it, and that went down the side, so people were pouring shots into it and like going up and drinking shots off of this hunk of glacier ice, which was really cool. So yeah, and it was a real bonfire this time, not like the sad little bonfire that we tried to have last time that I may or may not have told you about. So yeah. And then we all went to bed, and not myself, but many of my comrades woke up with fantastic hangovers, and we rode for 5 hours, 6 hours in a bus to Oslo, farther down, and we spent 4 hours in Oslo, I think, maybe, but the entire time we were there, it was just raining, and terrible, and sad, and dark, and quite miserable. Not how I pictured Oslo at all. But that's not really what Oslo's like. It's just happened to be raining and terrible by the time we got there. And, yeah. So that was nice, I guess. We went to Burger King and sat there for like 2 hours. Oh, and before we went to Oslo, when we got off the ferry at a place called Flom, and I got, I don't know if I have it like right here. But I got like a really cute hat, and I got this necklace, which I thought was a really good souvenir because I love it a lot, and it wasn't very expensive. Neither was the hat. And I figured if I'm gonna buy a winter hat, I might as well get a souvenir winter hat from Norway that's hand knitted and less expensive than the ones they sell in the stores here. So, and then I have everything else I need to talk about. Hopefully I have time to talk about it. So, yeah, the Norway trip, it was awesome. And you were saying how that I have bagels and, wait, one of us has bagels and one of us has cream cheese, and we should meet in the middle, and we should. Yes. So quitting coffee cold turkey. I did that, actually, this past summer. As soon as the spring semester ended, I gave up coffee, because I drank so much of it during finals, and I, at that point, was drinking coffee every day. Like, once, when I was working at Mitsubishi, every morning I wake up, I have coffee, I go to work, middle of the day, have another cup of coffee, carry on with my day, and yeah. But I was working 8 hours a day, because it was summertime, or almost, school had just ended, and I think, and so I was working full days, and I quit cold turkey. I couldn't function. Like, for 2 days, I was just sick. I was just, like, dead. Like, I would just sit there and just stare at my computer, and all I could think about was how tired I was and how much my head hurt. Like, you don't think, oh yeah, when I quit drinking coffee, my head is going to hurt like someone's beating me with a hammer. Yeah. That was the worst part, and it was really terrible, and I finally broke down and started having like a small cup of green tea to kind of like get me through the day. And eventually I weaned myself even off of that, and I would just have like maybe a cup of green tea every week, but I tried to just have like decaf, like chamomile tea or something, or like a lemon something. Anyways, so that was really rough, and so I know the feel, and I'm sorry. But after you get over it, you're just like, wow, I feel so great. And you go through like a period of time where you feel amazing, and eventually you go back to not feeling amazing. You don't have the, oh my god, I'm awesome feeling forever, but you remember that it's not so good to be addicted to coffee, because then you have to deal with the withdrawals later. And it reminds you how bad your addiction to things were, which, yeah. So, yoga. I really like doing yoga in the mornings. I did yoga this morning. I have a yoga mat here that I break out in the mornings when my roommate goes to the gym, and I just pull it up on my floor here and do me some yoga, which is amazing and relaxing. I listen to some good music, and yeah, it was a really good start to my day. Like, every time. It makes me really happy. I really want cupcakes. You keep talking about them, and since coming here, I don't think I've seen any cupcakes. Like, anywhere. They have donuts with jelly or jam in them. They have delicious cookie things with, like, jam on top of them, and they have chocolate things, and they have mint things, and they have all manner of chocolate and delicious, but they don't have cupcakes. Okay? And if you go to the store, you can't buy, like, cake mix and frosting. I bought this, which is not really, like, cake mix. I think it might be, but I have no idea because I can't read it. But I'm going to try it, so we'll see. The GRE sounds really rough, and I'm really sorry, and sorry for myself also if I have to. I think we have to take something else. Maybe it's like the FE, the foundations exam or something. Maybe, don't know, not sure, but probably. My hair is getting longer. Maybe you can't tell so much, but it is. It is. And I'm really excited because then I can start like braiding it and stuff. And also from where I burned off part of my bangs, yeah, she like blended it all in there, but it's starting to grow back to the length of the rest of my hair. Isn't that exciting? I'm addicted to Pinterest. It's hard to admit my addiction, but yeah. 42 ways to tie a scarf. That's all I have to say. There are over 42 ways to tie a scarf. And I want to learn them all. I also want to build a million different things involving mason jars and lights inside of them, because that seems to be the thing to do. My midterms are coming up, which are not midterms, they're technically finals. It's like 2 classes and then you have the finals and 2 classes and then finals. So I have to get studying for those, and hopefully that won't be too bad. Yeah, it's the hard part about it is that we don't have homework and stuff, or assignments, so there's no like, oh yeah, you should have learned this, this, and this, and this. It's like, here's the whole class. I hope you have some sort of idea of what it is you need to know, because we're not telling you. So that'll be fun. You were talking about your research things, and the only thing I can recommend that works really well for me is skim first, read second. If you skim it, you can be like, okay, yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that. And you get the picture, and then you can go back and fill in how those pieces fit into the picture. If you even need to, because maybe you skim it and you're like, oh, well, now I know everything. So, you know, it's worth a shot. Yay, football. I can't say go FSU because I go to UCF, but if I could, I'd say go FSU. Don't hear my grandpa say, or don't tell my grandpa I said that. I think he Gators, and he would just be like, brah. I'd be like, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I haven't seen any movies since I left the US because everything comes out like way after, and so most of the movies that have been out up until this point were movies that I saw before I left, and those are still coming out here. But that aside, movies are expensive and on my sad little budget. Yeah. So I will try to make an effort to see Pitch Perfect because it sounds hilarious, but no promises because expensive. And I like your new hair color. Like, it's pretty and red, which is awesome. And I think that's about it. I'm gonna be planning a trip to Stockholm where I will be attempting to couch surf for the first time. Me and Uli and Jonathan are going, so hopefully that will be fun and rewarding, and yeah. So I love you, and I hope that this message, however long, finds you very well. I'm actually really well right now because I, just before I made this video, finished reading The Hobbit, which I'd never read. I'd read the whole series, the 3 books, but I had never read The Hobbit, and it was quite good, and I'm very happy. So yeah, have a good day.